If you've been here longer than 10 years, you probably have heard this before, but to me it's very important and I'd like to share it with you, especially in light of Veterans Day and how it affected me personally with respect to stewardship. I'm a 34-year proud veteran, and I'd like to tell you how my military experience has influenced stewardship. It's been said that there's no atheist in the foxhole. Well, I was an agnostic. As an agnostic during my second year in Vietnam, believe it or not, I was responsible for 2 chaplains. God has a way of putting us together in very strange ways. They all saw a need to set up a halfway house for drug addicts. We had a bad problem at that time. When most of these addicts graduated from the halfway house, Jesus had become their best friend. It was demonstrated by an exuberant shouting and waving of arms and proclaiming his kingdom. This only reinforced my then held cynicism that Jesus was a crutch for losers, and that was in 1971. Moving ahead to 1995, my born-again daughter convinced my son-in-law to take me to a Promise Keepers event at the Dallas Stadium. There I learned about the role to which God has called men accountable to God and their brothers, men committed to their wives, to their families, and to their church, men who make a difference for Christ. I took this all in and was impressed. And shortly after, I asked to be baptized. And I took on the shield of Christ. I was then 58 years old. 1 year later, I was diagnosed with a severe form of prostate cancer. It had spread outside the prostate, and the surgeon told me that it was not able to be operated on. Well, I didn't take that as an answer. I insisted that he remove whatever cancer he could, and I would let God take care of the rest. The post-operation pathology indicated that the disease was a Gleason score of 10. 10 is as bad as it gets. I was given on average about 37 months to live. That was 18 years ago. Katie and I were devastated. I earlier mentioned Promise Keepers. After becoming a Christian, I became like my daughter. I was on fire for Christ, so much so that I had started a men's group, a Promise Keepers men's group at our church. And we invited any Christian man to join us, not just our church members. At one meeting, they decided to lay hands on me for healing. A retired Pentecostal minister gave the prayer. Maybe some of you have been fortunate enough to experience what I did. A warm rush came over my body. It was almost like the disease had been washed away. I later returned to the surgeon for a checkup. And I need to tell you that the surgeon was chief of urology at the Army's premier Walter Reed Hospital. He had operated on such as Bob Dole, General Schwarzkopf, a lot of various other congressmen and generals. He had a wall full of signed pictures proclaiming his expertise and their appreciation. He was about to give me results of the testing when I said to him, "Colonel, Before you continue, I have something to tell you. He gave me that, what in the world can you tell me look? And I said to him, I'm healed. This astounded him. I had found a different kind of healing than that which he understood. And you can find it in James 5:14, 16. So what's all this got to do with stewardship? As a babe-in-the-woods Christian, through Bible study, it had come to me that I was neglecting an important Christian duty. That is, giving back to God His full share. Truly thanking God for all the uncountable blessings He gives to us all. Now, tithing was one minor detail that they had left out when I was convinced to sign on to the kingdom. In time, my conscience started to bother me. God had allowed me many more years past my supposed expiration date. I had failed to show Him my appreciation. I had not returned to Him His due. I had not even tried to offer Him our tithe. Katie and I didn't know what we were going to do to manage this major cut in spending. But we both decided that we needed to take a leap of faith. About the same time, Congress passed legislation entitled Combat-Related Special Compensation, or CRSC for short. This was an amount to make up for an unwarranted reduction in retirement pension in an amount equal to that which I was allowed for VA disability benefit. Within several months of our scraping together that which we needed to tithe the church, we received notification that CRSC would begin. That would mean we would receive each month an amount slightly more than the tithe. Of course, now we'd have to give a portion of that back to the church, but we were happy to do it. Since then, Katie and I have seldom failed to remain faithful to this call. We both believe that the timing of additional funds came as no coincidence. He honored our step of faith and rewarded us as He had promised. He promises that it will be returned in abundance. We believe that to be true. Now, I don't stand here and presume to offer you how you should respond to our call for stewardship. That's for each of you to decide. I've shared my own path towards stewardship, and there are many ways to honor our God for all He does for us. My objective here this morning is one of hope that I have encouraged you to show your full measure of appreciation to Him. Mike Fitzgerald, our stewardship chair, asked that I remind that the giving cards are needed in the office by next Sunday. Thank you very much.